Hey, good morning everybody. Whoa, he's wearing glasses. Sometimes my left eye swells a little bit and I don't see very well in the morning, and today's one of those days. Today we are going to write a chart for like a quasi jazz quartet. I'm going to try to play a jazz quartet myself. And not necessarily, I'm not going for like Louis Armstrong jazz or maybe even Duke Ellington jazz. I'm going for something a little bit more progressive, like the fusion, electronic fusion, like the kind of stuff you'd hear in a Gran Turismo video game. You know what I'm saying? Something. Hey there, Windows. What are you trying to tell me? Turn on your firewall. I will not. Can't tell me what to do. The first thing I need to do for this type of music, especially if I'm going to have a lot of different chord changes, is write a chart. So you're going to see something interesting today that you probably don't see on YouTube very often. I'm going to write a chord chart for the song that I'm working on. And to get this filmed correctly, what I'm going to do is set up the camera and do this as a time lapse, because this is going to take me a minute. And if I sit down and explain it, we'll have like a 2-hour long video. And nobody signed up for that today. Now I'm a strings player. So when I write a chart, I like to use my guitar. And a lot of composers say that that's not the right instrument to write a chart with. They like to use the keyboard. But those composers are normally jealous keyboardists who don't get as much girls as the guys who play guitar. So, ha! This marker sucks, I need a pen. Ha! Let's try this again. Oh, much better. You know what really gets me going is that we don't teach this like we used to. We have composition, the art of writing music. We've got that as a degree program, but we don't teach that in high school. We should be teaching that even younger, actually. We should be teaching that as soon as you learn how to play an instrument, like alongside learning how to play an instrument. Because it doesn't make any sense to know how to read something but not know how to write it. When you learn English, or whatever your first language was, if it was Spanish or Japanese, German, Russian, etc., you probably learned how to speak that language a little bit before you learned how to write it, but learning how to write it didn't come too far behind learning how to speak or learning how to read, right? Imagine you didn't learn how to write any of your first spoken language until you were in your 20s. That's pretty much how composition works, at least currently. Mozart started writing music when they were very young, at the age of 4 or 5 or 6, alongside learning how to play the piano. I think we're missing out on that. I didn't start learning how to write music until I was 12, and it was mostly exploratory and on my own. I didn't receive formal instruction on writing music until I was 17. So I missed out on a lot of time that I could have been learning how to write music. formally from a teacher. That was a rant, but I really do think there needs to be a retooling of music education, at least in the United States. We should be teaching people how to write music at the same time that they're learning how to read it. All right, so now that I'm done with my chart, I want to actually start recording some instruments. Because I'm going to check what I just played against the chart and make edits if necessary. Now I'm going to throw in a bass line. Time for some drums. Now I'm going to edit everything together and then play a serious guitar solo on top of it and call it a day. Now for the second guitar part.